Hello, Galaxy. Chris Pirillo here in front of me, live.pirillo.com, a 24/7 geek out that you can join, play video games together, or share whatever happens to be on your screen, like any kind of software you might be working on over here. MakerDeck live on Twitch, a virtual makerspace. You're able to join both, courtesy of our sponsor, StreamYard. They make it possible to bring people in together and provide these experiences. Again, live.pirillo.com and the virtual makerspace, MakerDeck on Twitch. Let's go ahead and start over here. We've got an artillery stormtrooper that I finally opened. Finally, I only had it for a week. These mortars actually come out of the backpack and then can pop into the cannon. There's no firing action, though, unfortunately, on the cannon. Next to those little toys, we have more little toys. These Star Wars figures were thrifted for about $1 a piece. A little pricey for thrifting, but I was happy to get the bag, if only to get the ARF Trooper. Can't get enough of those. And then this weird-looking Darth Vader. The weirdest-looking Darth Vader I've ever seen. He kind of looks like Christian Bale, does he not? Anyway, so I got those, and I'm very happy with finding Star Wars figures, specifically this scale, 3.75-inch scale. That is my scale. This is not my scale, but it is my print. I can't believe I actually pulled this off. Took about 10 hours on the Bamboo X1 Carbon. I printed this in PLA. This is not resin. Came out 95% perfect. I had to pull out some parts because, unfortunately, the supports were very challenging to work with, but this is like a Warhammer 40K Scout Trooper ATST, like Dreadnought, I think is what the file was called. I loved it, and I said I had to try it. So I printed this. This is easily my print of the week, and it took less than a day. Probably took about that as long to remove the supports as it did to actually complete the print. We've got our comics, including Governor C.O. Bibble. So if you feel there's a communication disruption, it's probably because this comic is on my desk. That's actually a special edition cover because one of the comics that was sent to me by Marvel, of course I pay for the subscription, it came all battered. You might remember from last week. We also have Marvel number 10, Han Solo and Chewbacca, this comic. And I'm going to be diving in, of course, to read the story as it unfolds. I love comics that have black borders. I don't know. I feel like I like black border comics more than white border comics. This is a gift from Catherine Grable, who has been hanging out with us at live.pirillo.com. I believe she hit my wish list on Amazon and got a TIE fighter with the TIE pilot and another a blind box. We'll see which figurine I get with that, and then in the rest of the bag, let me pan back. This is difficult to do with one hand. Oh! A true Scout Walker. Oh, man. Or sorry, ATST, Chicken Walker, whatever you want to call them. So I'm very grateful to have these. They will be opened. Absolutely. Let's go ahead and move the StreamYard swag out of the way for the moment and show you that Easter is right around the corner. This is a lenticular topped candy tin. Of course, these are not vegan. That's milk chocolate, not Bantha milk. No, I had to check. No Bantha milk. But we didn't have this particular variant of the tin. There was also a Mandalorian tin that we already had. This is a new game, Spot It, that should be fun to play with the family, up to 2 to 8 players, 6 and up, so that should be fine. So the idea is that you're supposed to be the first person to spot something. I don't know, I've never played Spot It before, but man, if they can put the directions on the side of the box, it's my kind of game. Another new game that I needed to get, even though this game was very confusing, I don't know if I ever figured out how to play it, but Funko has released a series of Something Wild, different, I guess, styles of decks, but the Star Wars ones come with these Funko Pop. Well, they're not really pop. They're vinyl, these little figurines, and the Darth Vader one was not previously available in this particular scale. Moving on to another pop, this is also one that was just released, a GameStop exclusive, a deluxe Darth Vader that was a part of a series with bounty hunters, so they all kind of come together, and the only one I was interested in was specifically Darth Vader. I don't very often chase pops, but when it comes to Vader, I've got a soft spot on his head for Darth Vader pops. This is one of the mini brands from Disney. I believe this is Series 2, the more rare Grogu. This is a part of their ongoing collectibles. They've only had 2 series to this point, but this one is not easily found. Of course, I had to find him at auction online in order to get him and complete my collection, because otherwise that would drive me nuts, not having a complete collection with that. Now, speaking of complete, I'm going to open this box to show you that Fan Home has continued to send the kit for us to assemble our very own R2-D2. Not this box. No. You don't understand. They've sent at least into the 80s bags of parts that will come together to complete a full-on working electronic R2-D2. So I'm very grateful FanHome continues to send that. We haven't even begun to put that together. On the floor, let me pull that bag out of the way. That was the gift bag. We got this. We, like you and I, we both received it. No, we ordered this, and it came in. This was not supposed to be released until May, but Shop Disney had it on sale early. The Black Series Phase 2 Clone Trooper helmet fits perfectly, has electronics. I haven't actually set up the electronics yet, but I love the Phase 2 Clone Trooper. Tops Phase 1 for me, every single time, and I'm very happy that they finally released a Black Series helmet. I know a lot of people who are into 3D printing love 3D printing helmets. I'm much more of a DI buyer, so I'm very happy to have this one. I have a feeling these things are going to go fast because a lot of people are probably going to be customizing these helmets with different paint jobs. Now, while we're on the subject of Star Wars, which is not something we talk about very often over here, I wanted to point out that we gave away a $50 gift card courtesy of Din Djarin and Grogu the other day on live.perillo.com if you missed it. This is a poster that they also sent, a handful of posters. That's already started season 3, the episode 1. Only episode 1 has been released to this point, and that's going to fall. So I'm going to spin back over here before you see everything else. In electronics this week, I got a car phone holder mount so that when I go into the car in the morning when I'm doing IRL streaming, now I have a mount directly in front of me. This is actually very, very useful. If you didn't have one, this one I would easily recommend. It fits the phone tightly. The grips kind of they slide on and hold that phone in place, as well as the grip on the vents. And so it looks confusing with the directions, maybe because I'm flying through them, but it worked very, very, very well for me. And so I've got that in the car. So when you see me IRL streaming, this is the product I'm using. Cost $10. Very, very affordable. Also in tech this week, I got the Morphe, the Key to Sleep, and this device, in conjunction with another component, will actually play soothing sounds to help you fall asleep more easily. So it looks very plain, very simple, but I like that, especially if it's to sit on a nightstand, because you don't necessarily want electronics to scream electronics when they're sitting on your nightstand, do you? No, you want them to fit in with the rest of your home. So they sent this for us to test, the Morphe, and hopefully... Oh, sorry. Okay, I fell asleep briefly. Hopefully no one else did. We're going to move on. GC Laredo sent a haul and a half. Basically, everything you see here was sent this past week from GC Laredo, who has been streaming on the live.perillo.com experience. He just got a 3D printer himself. He's also played Minecraft on the Locker No Minecraft server. And you can follow GC Laredo. You can also catch him over on the Discord server, as well as live.perillo.com. That's a very special Garbage Pail Kid, because both he and I collect Garbage Pail Kids. And so he sent some tins from the new series, Go on Vacation. He sent sealed tins as well as open tins. And so earlier on the live stream, I opened one of these tins, a duplicate open tin, and went through. And I love, out of all the cards at this point, I'm not sure. It says peel here, but I don't know if they're stickers anymore. This is my favorite one. It's Spaceballs. Space Bill, and it says Spaceballs, the sleeping bag. I love it. Love it. Is Spaceballs available in 8K? I don't know. Also, a couple of other sealed cards that are worth a little more because they're going to be a little more rare versus the commons. These are old tins from the Food Fight series that he sent along, as well as some closed packs for us to open. And he sent these along because he had them and he knew Jedi would get a kick out of them. And then in some of those tins came wacky packages, at least the Series 1 wacky packages, but Avo also sent Series 3 wacky packages, not just this blind container with tricks on top, but another one that I went and opened ahead of time because I had to see what was going on. I don't have the full collection of the wacky packages, but I love seeing them. I love the little collectible nature of the wacky packages, because, come on, kids love these little miniature things. I mean, I love the Star Wars. I love the wacky packages. This is normal to me. He also sent some other cards, including a vintage wax pack of E.T. And I remember when I was a kid, I actually had those cards. I didn't have the full set, but I had those trading cards, as well as some non-wax packs, including a Pukemon what are these aren't as much fun. Like these plastic packs, not as much fun as to open as the wax packs, in my humble opinion. Also, Casper, the friendly ghost that I grew up with, and Angry Birds, which I did not grow up with. He also sent a sealed Micro Machine Space Endor set. It's all about the Scout Walkers this week. I don't know. And then also the Darth Vader Black Series kit that comes with a stand that you could stand the original 12 onto. Of course, it only comes with one of the figures, but I'm very happy to have another Black Series Vader. More tech, because I get stuff that ends up falling to the floor, and I would have to pull out the vacuum, and that is kind of annoying, because usually they're just little small pieces, pulling off supports from prints. It can be challenging to stay up on it because I don't vacuum every day. So this was recommended, the Eufy Homeback H11. Haven't opened it yet, but I will be using it. It is a cordless vac, a handheld vac that works perfectly for picking up or sucking up filament or pieces of food or what have you. So that's another bit of tech that I got this week. Also, not tech, but this helped tech. You might remember last week I was talking about the Tenorion, and let's see, where the heck where's the switch? Down here. It works again, and I was able to use the Deoxit to basically run along the wheel so that the wheel was smooth again and it didn't skip. At least when I was using it before, it didn't skip numbers. Yeah, so it's not skipping numbers anymore, so I just put a little there and also cleaned out the battery chambers. And so now the Tenorion is working again. You might not be able to hear it, but it's playing back music. And the Tenorion, this thing costs an arm and a leg. You can still buy one if you want. They're not exactly cheap, but I think they're a little cheaper than they were when I first got mine like a decade or so ago. So I've been playing with the Tenorion, having fun with that. Thanks again to Glendon for recommending the Deoxit. I'm absolutely going to hold on to it because it's a great way to remove oxidation and improving connections with old electronics specifically. Speaking of electronics, my 3D printer's down for the count. I have to replace my hot end. It should be getting here on Monday. I've never replaced one before, but we'll see. I'm not really a hardware guy. I'm more of a software. My kind of hardware, again, is I'm just going to buy this. It's done. Like it's everything's put together for you. I don't have to take anything apart. I run with this. No, you never run with a vacuum in your hand. Don't do that. Before I move on, let me go back to this piece of tech. Probably, I would say my favorite tech pickup this week. This is a Darth Vader RGB mousepad, and yes, it does illuminate. So I might be putting it here on the desk, rolling it out and putting the keyboard on top. Although I'm also afraid of putting it here because I don't want to get it dirty. I don't want to mess it up because it's collectible. But it was designed to be used. A Darth Vader RGB mousepad. I have a Darth Vader mousepad, or at least a desk pad, really, but not one that's electronic. So that was definitely a fun find this week. Then I also got some Darth Vader glass tumblers. At least I would call them tumblers, with original Darth Vader art on them. Original in the sense that they were done by an artist. I've seen this art before in earlier Star Wars products, a different Darth Vader on each one of the glasses. And, normally I would skip these glasses, but since it was a full Vader set, I just could not resist. Resistance was futile, especially, I know there's a little Star Trek reference. We talked about Picard last night on live.perillo.com, by the way, because season 3, episode 3 was also fantastic. No spoilers, though. No spoilers. Here we have the Retro Wave Return of the Jedi figures just released by Kenner, aka Hasbro. These are all basically reissues of vintage figures, so nothing new at this stage, which is a little unfortunate because I already have the vintage line, the full vintage line with accessories right there, C9, C10 condition. So near mint up there. So they're not as exciting, but I couldn't pass them up. Star Wars figures, come on, man. 5 POA done just like the classic Kenner style. I know a lot of people are not a fan of repro or retro, but me, yeah, sign me up. Absolutely. So those are the 6 in that wave, and I don't know if there's going to be another one that's not yet been produced. They've done that with the previous 2 waves for Star Wars A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. From the vintage collection, we have the Speeder Bike and Scout Trooper. This ran a little more than I would have wanted it to, so I didn't get 2, though the Scout Trooper has typically been my favorite, or one of my favorite troopers of all time. So I'm going to wait until this goes on sale before I grab another one, and that's usually a good bet. Like, you don't have to jump on the Star Wars figures right away if you're wanting to save money, because inevitably these will come down in price. So it's good to get one just in case, but then for the one, if you want to open it, just wait, hold on, because more often than not, they will be releasing, discounts at some point in the near future. So that's everything, I believe, which is on my desk this week. Thanks again for watching. Thanks again for tuning in. Thanks again for stopping by live.pirillo.com and MakerDeck on Twitch. I love you. I appreciate you. At this point, I'm going to leave you to your own devices, and may the force be with you always. Typically talking tech, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at live.pirillo.com. We'll see you later.